Oh my goodness. Hey guys, hope you guys are awesome. This is Athena, by the way. My puppy, who is here today to talk with me and you about shadow work and about how important it is to do the shadow work. I am right now in the middle of teaching, actually, we just started this week, a new program called the 12 Veils of Illusion. And it is all about veils, illusion, and shadow work, of course. It's all about the conversations in our life that are limiting us. It's about the beliefs that we've taken on, the stories that we're moving through. But one thing that's really coming up in the collective group of the 8 women that are in it, plus me is 9, and in the work that I've been doing over the last few months, is how important the shadow work is for our light. And you might be like, yes, it is. The shadow work inside of us, inside of our being, the things that we've taken on in our life that are no longer here to serve our light, meaning the limitations, meaning the beliefs, meaning the stories that you keep replaying in your mind. And in order to fully embody your light, your ascension, your expanded energy, we need to dive into the shadow work. The things blocking us from feeling worthy, the things blocking us from, our limiting decisions, like that there's unlimited possibilities in the world and you not believing that that is that. It is not easy to do the shadow work though. And the shadow work isn't just on this lifetime plane, it's all the lifetime planes. So let's just say, you were killed in a past life because you spoke your truth. That shadow is still within you. You died from a murder potentially. That shadow is still in you, that traumatic event. And in order for us to fully embody our next levels, to fully embody our light, we need to dive into the shadow and grab it out from the root. So a couple ways to do this, and I'm just going to give you some examples on here. Obviously, doing it with someone like me in a coaching container is a lot easier for people to do. Well, I wouldn't say it's easy, but you have support. But if you don't have the financial means or that doesn't make sense for you right now to do that, a couple things to consider. Firstly, you need to start getting super honest with yourself. Super honest with yourself. Like, I'm not talking about the potentially being honest with myself or surface level. Like, you've got to get into the root and start to take ownership for certain things in your life. The traumatic events, the dynamics maneuvering through, your responsibility in the situations. Things happen for us, right? Not to us. And sometimes this is the hardest thing to gather because the events you've been through could be dark and deep and rooted and hurtful and vengeful. Like, there's energy there. But if you are really, and I'm going to make up because you are watching this video right now, so you're in my energetic world, you are ready to step into this next level. You're ready. But we've got to dive into that work. So the first thing is taking responsibility and getting really honest with yourself as to why certain things. Why do you have the emotion of scarcity? Why do you always go to lack? What are you scared about when it comes to fully embodying this next level? Like, these are some things that you need to start to get really honest with yourself about, because until you get honest with yourself, you cannot break the cycle. You can't break the pattern. You're going to keep surfacing over top of that pattern. And I know because I have been there. And I know exactly what this feels like. And I know swimming in the same freaking pool for years because I wouldn't go in to the dark and I wouldn't go into the shadow. I would surface level it. I'd pass it by. I'd go, I'll deal with that later. And I'd throw it under the rug and I'd keep moving. And the hustle, it served me for years. The drive in that served me for years. But then we got to a point where the whole world shut down and everything got quiet. And the only thing I could do was start to look at myself and start to be with myself and start to actually do the work, like the deep dive work. I've done so much work over the last 13 years, not even including all, when I was 23, when I first read my first personal development book. So 18 years. I'm like, ooh, I'm 41 now. 18 years. And of doing that kind of work on myself and moving that needle forward, but really intensely shifting the energy in the last 2 years of acceleration and movement forward and embodiment and just understanding this dynamic. But it starts with us being honest. The next thing, once we get honest, is starting to go back into these scenes without taking it on, meaning like a lot of you have had a lot of darkness in your world, but going back into the dark without fully embodying the energy there and looking at it from another point of view. What did you learn? What have you learned? What is still sticking from that energy? Is there fear still? Is there shame? Is there pride? Is there, fear? What is still sticking in the energy? And now dropping into your intuition, what is it going to take for you to move it through? What is it going to take for you to move it through? And that is the key thing. Do you need help? Do you need a coach to help you shift that? Do you need to be seeing a different level of practitioner energetically, maybe for a Reiki or for, different levels of energetic movement? Meaning, do you need to recluse for a while and do the work on your own in a quiet environment where you can cry and beat it out of yourself pretty much and maneuver it through? Like, what is it that you now need to move that energy? And the last thing would be to analyze the stories now, the new stories that you're moving into in order for you to step into this next level of embodiment. What is a new story? Like, there's possibility here. There's unlimited potential. I've learned so much from that experience that now I can teach from it and I can serve the world in it, because I really feel and believe, and I say this all the time, that we go through things in our life to be able to teach from it. And not all of you are coaches, and not all of you will have online brands and all that kind of stuff, and you don't need to. But I bet you that the circumstances you went through, that darkness, that shadow inside of you, that there's someone in your life that you've spoken to about it that maybe has made a change because of it, that someone has walked into your world that you could give words of wisdom to that may shift them. Because I feel and believe that we all go through these experiences to be able to learn from them, take on that experience, to have the knowledge, but then we turn around to be able to teach, to help others through it, and to get that other person to the next phase. And it's not just in coaching, it's in all the time. Like, you can meet someone in the grocery store and have this conversation with them that is real and raw and pure in energy. And you can walk away from that, maybe never speaking to them again. But because you went through your experience, you were able to help another. And it's a really cool thing when we start to look at it that way, because it takes a charge out of the energy, right? It takes that depth and that darkness out. But if you are holding on to stuff and you've never spoken about it, you haven't owned it and been truthful with yourself, you keep maneuvering around it, you will not be able to step in and expand. You won't. And that's just the reality of it all. Because until you do the work and until you get into that space, you cannot step into your full light. You can't. You're holding on to it. There's a scenario in my life that I've come to recognize over the years of doing my spiritual work, that there's a person close to me in my world that has never owned this truth in their space. And it's taking a toll, and it takes a toll in their energy, that they will never fully be able to embody their authentic purity until they own this situation. And I watch it because they're an intimate relationship in my world. I watch it, and I watch it happen all the time. But I am not the one to bring it up to say, I know this happened to you, because it downloaded spiritually to me, and I know it to be truth, and I am a part of it in some way, shape, or form. And it's like, if we would just own it and just embody it and remove the shame from it, because we all go through things in our life. There's so much potential there, and there's so much potency in that. And yeah, it's just interesting. But we all have our journey. But for some reason, at 9 minutes into this video, you're still watching it right now. So you're ready to evolve and to take note of that and to move through it. And if you're in my program, this is going to happen, that you're going to move through it, and some shit's going to come up, and we're going to have to excavate it and go deep, and then we're going to clear that energy. But if you're interested in my next 12 Veils of Illusion program, because I feel like I'm going to be teaching this again, it'll become a staple in the work I do, just send me a message on Instagram, just send me a DM, and we'll get you locked into the wait list for when I do it again. It's a 12-week, well, technically 13-week program that we're leaning into, and every week we're clearing a new veil, a new level of that shadow in us. But I want to say to you today, do not avoid that work now. You need it. It's needed. Your light right now is needed in the world more brightly than ever before. And in order for you to fully shine it, you cannot do it without doing the shadow work. You can't. And you're not in the level of authenticity if you're not either, especially if you're a spiritual mentor. You are not in the authenticity. You haven't done the work. You are not going deep enough. You need to go get those roots out, pull them out, and go like step into this space. So with that being said, I'm sending you lots of love and light today. I have been dealing with my own shadow work, even just launching this program and facilitating it, but also too with the massive amounts of change that are happening in my world. I'm in the thick of it right now with you all. So I know what it feels like. I know what it's going to take. And just know I hold space for you. So I'll see you guys again soon. Have a great day.